So with that 50 to 60% occupancy rate, we paid less than $1,000 on our mortgage out of pocket.
Hi, Alex Kais here with a home in Seattle, and this video is all about building an Airbnb business out of your home. I had clients about a year ago who wanted to buy a house, and they found a really creative way to pay for it by creating an Airbnb in their basement. They actually have two separate spaces, a completely separate 2-bedroom apartment downstairs with a kitchen and laundry facilities, and another bedroom and bathroom on their main level that's a little more open to the rest of their living space. So make sure you subscribe and like down below, and let's go have a tour of Jared and Laura's Airbnb.
Hey, welcome to Passage House. I would invite you in this way, but actually the entrance is around the back. Let me show you. Follow me. Welcome to our Airbnb. So about a year ago, we bought this house and there was this partially finished basement and we wanted to convert it to an Airbnb space. So we did a lot of work, kind of changed a few things around, and we made it into something that we feel like is really comfortable and exciting for people to come and stay in. Here's the kitchen, which we did a lot of different changes to, added some counters and just made it feel a lot more homey. And we have our first room, which we have called the Mountain Pass room. And so it's meant to show some stark differences between black and white colors, just a real homey type of room. There's even, over here, we have our own laundry space that we provide for our guests so that they can wash clothes if they're staying here longer term. People really are amazed that they can find a Airbnb that has its own private washer and dryer, and it just gives it another perk to the space as a whole. And so let me show you the bathroom, which we are particularly proud of because it has its own clawfoot tub. And it's a feature that the tub was already here when we bought the house. It was a little bit beat up, and so we refinished it, made it really nice, and it just kind of feels like an oasis on their vacation. And so people can take nice baths and everything. If you come this way, one of the things that we did was we added a wall here, and our space didn't have any kind of living room area or anything like that. And so we added this little reading nook, nice little cozy space for people to sit, and we provide some books for people and they really enjoy that. And then our last room, we call it the Forest Trail room. And so there's some dark green colors, some browns, some natural wood, and it's got a fireplace, and it's just a really comfortable room. And we have our windows bring in enough light for people to be able to feel like it's not a basement. It feels more open and bright. We had to spend roughly $15,000 to $18,000 to get everything up and running the way that we wanted it to, from new floors, new kitchen, counters. We had to cut these window wells out, which was a beast of a job, digging it up. These were the most expensive pieces, bringing it up to code, just refinishing the bathtub. All these different things did cost a lot of money, and bringing in furniture and that kind of stuff. We did find some of the furniture just on different places like Buy Nothing or Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. And if you're creative, you can find these things all over the place. And if you're patient, you can really come up with some really neat things. Like this chair was maybe just like 30 bucks that we found on Craigslist, and we reupholstered the chair, and it really just makes the room pop. And so this is our Airbnb space.
So they have a really great setup. You know, I helped them buy a house about a year ago, and I wanted to check in on how the business is going, and I wanted you to be able to see what it's like sharing your house with renters.
Well, we were tossed around in the rental game for a long time, so we wanted to buy, especially because we were afraid if we didn't buy soon, we'd just be priced out of Seattle at some point. And so we looked at what we could afford, and basically we couldn't afford a house that would fit our family. And so we had to be creative and actually try to buy above what we could afford and have an Airbnb help us get to what we could afford. Well, we really wanted a name for our house because we've always opened up our home to the community, and being more than that, this time it's a family home and open for the community like all of our other homes, but also a vacation getaway. So we wanted a name for it. And you actually came up with the name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Passage House. I was kind of thinking of, for us, that idea of journey, or the idea of going on a journey, but then people coming through and not staying, but this is just kind of a stop along their journey as well. And we just kind of settled on the idea of Passage House as a way of, we're just a part of people's story along the way. It's not like people came here to settle at our house, but for a moment, we get to be a part of what they're doing and who they are. Especially when we first started, it felt like we were kind of guests in our own home, because we were still figuring out how to, we have 4 kids from 11 to 4, and so they kind of are noisy. And you may actually hear them in the background a little bit. And this is a noisy house, it's a little bit older, the floors are all wood, and so we felt like we were tiptoeing around a little bit, especially at the beginning, and we had to get comfortable with being okay with, this is our family home first and foremost. And so yeah, it definitely is weird at times, because at times we have the whole house open to ourselves and we can do whatever we want, and we can go downstairs to the clawfoot tub and take a bath or whatever. But then other times it's like, oh, we haven't seen the basement in 3 months.
Okay, but how are the numbers? These guys bought a 5-bedroom house, turned it into a 6-bedroom house in the Seattle area, and it's expensive to live here. So how does this business help out with their mortgage? Let's find out.
So the single room and bathroom is listed in the lower 50s right now, and we change the price every day because that keeps it kind of on the top of some of the search things. So just change it by $1 or $2. During the winter months, it would probably go down a little bit, but then we also have a $12 cleaning fee, and most people rent this one for one night. So generally we're getting about 60 plus per night for this room. And the basement, we actually are getting, I think, a little less than what we thought, because for what it offers, 2 rooms and a kitchen and a bathroom and a laundry, I think for people looking for that would prefer to just have a separate house. And so I think we were expecting it to get a little more for that, but for now it's listed in anywhere from the 90s to low 100s, and then there's a $30 cleaning fee for it.
Airbnb offers some guidance in creating those numbers, but then we looked at just AirDNA and what other places around here have been charging for what they offer. And then we knew, like, summer months we're going to need to charge more, because that's peak traveling time. Winter months you charge a little bit less, and so we kind of based it on, we started a little bit lower than what we anticipated, and then we've been kind of working up towards it, and it's just kind of been over the course of the year just feeling out what is that prime spot for us.
So when we first started, in the Ferry Ride room, we were in the 90 percentile for occupancy rate, and it was honestly during the winter months, which were the off months too. And then once we realized that we could get a lot of bookings, we got kind of tired, and we're like, we don't have to have all of that. And so we have started blocking off some days and been more comfortable saying, okay, we can block off a day. And so
we generally have at least 20 nights a month that are booked. And then in our basement, we did have a person that booked for 3.5 months. So that was 100% for 3.5 months. And then obviously during kind of quarantine and COVID time, at some point it kind of went down to almost nothing for a while, but it's back up. And last month it was maybe 50 or 60% full.
So with that 50 to 60% occupancy rate, we paid less than $1,000 on our mortgage out of pocket.
Had it not been COVID, we anticipate that it would have been about 90%.
Or if we didn't block off some of the dates. We were just feeling tired and wanted to block some off.
Yeah, that is the nice part about having Airbnbs is you can do that. If you have a renter full time, you can't do that, but we get every now and then the opportunity to just say, we just need the house to ourselves.
So I have friends renting my basement, more on a long-term basis, and it's pretty easy, and it's always nice to have them up for dinner every once in a while. But I wanted to know what it's like to have strangers in and out of your house all the time.
So guests are all over the place with who they are and what they bring to the home. And one of the things that you have to be comfortable with is just the diversity of who people are and being okay with, there's going to be some groups that have a lot of, alcohol that they bring in. And I think I brought up like 17 bottles of beer from one thing.
But we have house rules about
and
quiet hours and things like that, so we can very specifically connect with them if the alcohol is affecting them in any way.
Mm-hmm. But there have been a few moments where people have booked for an evening and come in and then left and didn't stay the night. And we kind of understood there was some weird stuff that was going on, and a few of them that we felt really uncomfortable with. And some of the nice things about Airbnb is you can kind of mark those and make sure that you don't rent to that person again.
There's been a few of those, but nothing that has made us feel uncomfortable having guests in our home with children. Mm-hmm. We are just very intentional about how we do life here. Just being aware and intentional has made it to where we haven't really ever felt uncomfortable with it.
Yes.
Gabriel, we're filming. I need you to stay outside right now.
Isn't that for church?
No, it's for Alex's business.
It's definitely worth, if you feel like you can't afford a home, this is a viable and honestly a successful way to afford a home. You do have to get past a few things. The constant, having people in your home. Once you get past that, it's totally worth it if you want a home. But it's just kind of right on the edge of being able to afford it fully. This is a way to do it, and it works. So, yeah, let us be the testament to that.
And it's fun. It's not like, we put up with it to be in a house. We enjoy doing it and get to meet a lot of people and share our home, which is something we love to do anyways. So.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for joining me. This is one of probably hundreds of creative ways that you can use housing to your advantage. So if you're thinking about making a home in Seattle, send me a message.